All right, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about Mikey Garcia versus Danny Garcia on pay-per-view. The battle of the overpriced losers. I can't believe that they're going to try to get me to pay for this fight. But we're going to talk about that right after this. All right, subscribers, welcome back to the channel. We're going to dig right into it with Mikey Garcia versus Danny Garcia, rumored to be on pay-per-view. Can you believe it? I can't. If they make this happen, man, I think this will be the first time that I actually listen to Bob Arum and boycott the PBC for a night. Wow. Okay, so a report came out on Boxing Scene this morning. I had also heard about it in other outlets last evening, that Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia are in negotiations to fight, and there's a chance that it could be on pay-per-view. Now, why would I call this the battle of the losers? I would call them that because they just both recently lost to two guys that are fighting each other for unified belts at 147 pounds. That being Errol Spence Jr. and Shawn Porter. Errol Spence Jr. just got done beating Mikey Garcia. Shawn Porter, the fight before last to win the WBC belt, just got done beating Danny Garcia. And the rumor is that those two guys are fighting, and I don't have to pay for it. So I'm a little confused as to why people would anticipate me paying extra money to see the two guys that lost. Just looking at what I would consider to be the more valuable fight. If you're going to charge me $10,000 for a BMW, I'm not going to pay you $30,000 for a Toyota Corolla. It doesn't make sense. You're establishing the market value by telling me that Shawn Porter and Errol Spence Jr. is worth what I'm already paying. But you want me to pay extra for guys that lost to them? To me, it makes no sense. Now, I can try to make sense and say, well, it's a business. Fanon, it's a business. You got to understand, it's a business. Isn't what they say? It's a business. It's a business. You know, it's a Puerto Rican. It's a Mexican. They're going to get together. It's going to make a lot of money. That's why they're doing it. I don't know. Yeah, that would have to be some real miraculous stuff for that to happen, because Errol Spence Jr., when he fought Carlos Ocampo on Showtime, did better numbers, or he did slightly better numbers than when Mikey Garcia fought Robert Easter Jr., who is a well-known name in boxing. When Errol Spence Jr. fought Carlos Ocampo, who had he might not ever walked into the United States before, and people were definitely running to BoxRec trying to figure out who he was. Errol Spence peaked at 725,000 for his show. That was the fight that he had immediately before the fight with Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia's fight immediately before, like I said, was Robert Easter Jr. And they peaked at 725,000. They did 1,000 less peak than Errol Spence Jr. got fighting nobody. So the two of them get together, they do 325,000 pay-per-views, and somehow people gave all the credit for that to Mikey Garcia. If Mikey Garcia was so much bigger a star than Errol Spence Jr., then why didn't more people watch him fight Robert Easter Jr.? Right? Robert Easter Jr. is an African-American fighter. Where were the millions of people? Why wasn't he getting Deontay Wilder versus Bermane Stiverne numbers? Right? He didn't even get Deontay Wilder, Bermane Stiverne numbers with like 900,000, let alone get the amount of viewers that he had for Luis Ortiz. So the logic doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense for Danny Garcia either. Because I know I can already hear you in the comment section. You're gonna tell me, let's use my crystal ball here. This is a big old crystal ball. You're gonna tell me that Danny Garcia is a bigger draw than Sean Porter. Is he really? Let's look at the numbers from the last time that they fought on television. When Sean Porter's last fight on Fox was a fight with Yordenis Ugas, which peaked at over 2 million views. 2 million views. Danny Garcia, on the other hand, fought Adrian Granados, and they peaked at 1.4 million. Now, I'm not the best in math, but 2.1 million is significantly higher than 1.4 million. Now, I'm sure people will tell me, well, that's because 100,000 people watch Terrence Crawford, 150,000 people watch Terrence Crawford on Terrence Crawford's card. That's what it was. Hey, man, that's a bigger gap than 150,000 people. And plus, we can't prove it, so we just got to go with the numbers. And if you just say, hey, well, it's because people are watching the Terrence Crawford fight, you got to find me where the people watch Terrence Crawford fight. Anyway, so I'm just a little confused. Not confused. I'm just not going to do it. It's not worth it. It's not, it's something where you are giving me a value. You're not giving me the value that you're asking in exchange for the money that you're asking for. And I don't mind pay-per-view. I really don't. I've said this before. I have bought just this year. I've bought the Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Bronner pay-per-view. I've bought the Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia pay-per-view. I bought the Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan pay-per-view. I'm gonna be okay with buying the Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman pay-per-view. I'm all in with spending money for what I think is worth when it's worth it. I'm all in on buying things that I believe are worth the price. But you're going to have a very hard time selling me on Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia being worth that. As far as the fight, though, hey, man, really, really good fight. Really good fight. I'm definitely going to watch it. This is the fight that Mikey Garcia should have taken before he fought Errol Spence Jr. Mikey Garcia everybody knew Mikey Garcia was going to lose that fight. His mother was telling him not to take the fight. His daddy was telling him not to take the fight. His trainer was telling him not to take the fight. Dang it, Errol Spence Jr. told him not to take the fight. And work your way into the weight class. Now, I don't think he's ever going to be able to beat Errol Spence Jr. That ship has sailed. He said that he had wanted a rematch. Maybe this is his path to getting that rematch with Errol Spence Jr. Nah, man, it's not. I don't think it is. You need to stay away from Errol Spence. Try to stay away as far away from him as you possibly can. Danny Garcia is a winnable fight for Mikey Garcia, but it's not that winnable. I mean, it's not. I favor Danny Garcia to beat Mikey Garcia in that fight. I think that Danny Garcia's timing, I think that Danny Garcia's ring generalship, I think that his strength is going to surprise Mikey Garcia, and I think Mikey Garcia more than likely is going to regret taking a fight with Danny Garcia too. And I just don't know what the dude has left in the tank after that drumming that he suffered at the hands of Errol Spence Jr. But we'll see, man. We'll see. PBC, if this is true. Now, I gotta say, for all this conversation that I've had with this, I do not know whether or not what they're saying is true or not, right? It could very well not be true. I certainly hope that it is not true. I hope that they are going to try to continue to grow the sport by having good matchups like this be on regular Fox, regular Showtime, and just have to tell the boxers, look, man, you're just not going to get that mega payday on the back of the fans, okay? Because that's not when it's obviously not worth it. And I can't think of a And maybe I can go back and find an example where there was a pay-per-view fighter where there was a pay-per-view fight against two guys that came off losses to the same guys that are fighting, that are going to fight in the same general time frame at no additional cost. But at this point in time, it's really hard for me to see that. Anyway, it is what it is. With that, I'm out.